Here's a very easy question. What's your favorite celestial body in the universe?
Actually, mine is Triton.
Triton?
Yeah, so I really love Europa, and I love Jupiter. Jupiter's pretty much my favorite planet.
I love Jupiter.
Absolutely a Jupiter freak, so love that place. But Triton is this moon of a moon of Neptune, and the reason I just think it's fascinating is it's a young surface, but it's very much like Europa. It's probably got an ice shell and an ocean, but it's very young surface, and it's also covered in methane. It has cryovolcanism, so it's the one example that we really have of what we call cryovolcanics, which is basically just a volatile process on another planet. But what actually happens on Triton is areas of the surface get warmed either from below or from above, and it shoots off these methane nitrogen geysers that go kilometers up into the air, and you can see these dark streaks across the surface where this material has fallen out. And so it's got these bizarre geology that we don't see anywhere else in the solar system. It's our best case example for what we call cryovolcanism, and it's just, it's gas emitting, and it's just an amazing place. And something that I think is pretty cool about Triton is that if you actually stood on the surface, because the surface is made of nitrogen and methane for the most part, it's so cold that actually just the change in temperature and the change in pressure from you would actually sink through the surface, through the initial surface layer. That's all this really super cold stuff. So it exists in this weird place where it was captured by Neptune. It's not actually, it wasn't, it didn't grow up, it doesn't form around Neptune. It was actually a captured Kuiper Belt object. So sometime early in history, Triton and another Kuiper Belt object were probably, in a binary system and interacted with Neptune, and Triton got stolen. So basically, Triton's been in this environment around Neptune for a while now. So it's a piece of the outer solar system that we get to see a little bit closer. And as it went through that environment, when you get captured tidally, if you're a planet, you really get pretty torn up. So it probably went through all of those tidal interactions that Europa goes through on a daily basis, but a much huger version of that, a much larger tidal distortion. And so even though it's now on a circular orbit, it almost certainly got a huge amount of energy from that initial capture. And so to me, it's an environment that's full of water. It's got interesting geology. It has a young surface. It went through this energetic event that might have deposited energy. So it's just an amazing place to think of. So that's my favorite. I know it's like been in our own solar system, but it's just amazing. I think it's got a little bit of everything. And so if I could go any place but Europa, I would go to Triton. Actually, I might go to Triton before I went to Europa, just for fun. But I think Europa is going to be the one that we answer a lot of these questions. So there we go.
Well, Neptune definitely needed his Triton.
Yeah, it's true.